What is going on, Redmagic gamers? I say Redmagic gamers because those that have a Redmagic phone and want to connect their phone to their TV might be annoyed by the black bars that you see in the top and the bottom of the screen. Now, this happens for a couple of reasons, and reason number one is just because the outputted resolution is not right. And today I'm going to show you how to do this from your phone. You can actually do this directly from your phone, easily I might add, and let you know that once we finalize this, we're going to be able to use something called an app called Pixels that will allow us to actually see the proper resolutions on our outputted screen without having to go into game mode. Now, what I mean by that is when you toggle that little switch on the top of your device or you go into the GameSpace app, yes, it does work that way, but it also messes with things like using a mouse and keyboard on your games. Like, as you can see here, I'm using a mouse and keyboard and everything is working like it's supposed to. Now, some games have issues with that, like Minecraft, for example, with using a mouse and keyboard when you use GameSpace. So this fix allows you to fix that by using a simple application, well, actually two simple applications. One's called Shizuku and one's called Pixelated, or Pixels. I'm going to show you this right now. So by default, like I said, if you go into like any application, whether it's Xailith Launcher, Minecraft, Call of Duty, whatever the case may be, the output of the display shows a black bar on the top of the bottom of the screen, okay? So that's very annoying to a lot of people, and it also causes issues with the actual gameplay when you switch over to the GameSpace. Like, yeah, we can switch over to GameSpace, but when I actually go and play like Xailith Launcher, for example, the mouse and keyboard option acts as just a touch option, and it messes around with the actual gameplay of the game, and it does this also with just regular Minecraft. You can add your games in GameSpace too, so if you have Minecraft installed, add your games to GameSpace, and then you'll be able to actually, you know, use the GameSpace features before you actually get into the games and stuff like that as well. Now, this does disallow us to use the GameSpace features when we're actually inside of the actual game too. I'm going to let you know that as well. So what I will show you that when we get to that point, but what I mean is that when we change the resolution of the actual screen, it doesn't allow us to swipe over for the quick menu for GameSpace, so you have to kind of preset everything up before you do so, because you can do that while you're inside of your game and set up your GameSpace as a per game setting feature, you know what I mean? So if you know your Redmagic device, you'll know that like when you go into here, you can change your actual CPU and GPU clock speeds and stuff like that to be rise, balanced, eco-friendly, all that kind of stuff, and this will save it as a per game setting when you're actually in the actual game itself. So yeah, that's just something that I thought I would allow you guys to understand, is that this feature will not be able to be opened up when we change the resolution, but this fixes things with the issues with like keyboard and mouse games that are required for this to work. So to get that all out of the way, you need to install something called Shizuku. You need to install this application called Pixels, and you also need to enable developer options. So I already have developer options enabled. So go all the way down to your settings, go to About Phone, go to Build Number and tap that multiple times until you see you are now a developer. Go to System and Update, go to Developer Options, and make sure that you have wireless debugging to be turned on. So let's look for it right here. Turn it on, and now we are going to go back into Shizuku. Now for Shizuku, we're going to click on Pairing, go to Notification Options, toggle that on, go back. Now you're going to click on Developer Options, and you're going to scroll down to Wireless Debugging again and look for it. There it is right there. Go inside there and click on Pair with Pairing Code. Now, code's going to pop up, and then a little notification at the top of the screen should show up saying, do you want to enter your pairing code? Which yours will show up at the top of the screen. For whatever reason, the recording's not actually showing this, probably because I'm using a mouse and keyboard. So I'm going to enter this pairing code. Now, 190. Now, you're going to get a different pairing code than I will, okay? As you can see, it's not even showing the notification. I think that might be a security feature too. I'm not sure what's going on there. But now we can go back into Shizuku and click Start. Now the ADB is going to run, and then when it runs, it'll say Shizuku is running. Now when we go into Pixels, it's going to ask you when you go to custom resolutions. That's what we're going to do here, is go to custom resolutions. It's going to have a notification that says, hey, do you want to allow this to have read or write permissions? So I'm going to use just the on-screen keyboard here for a second. There it is right there. And I'm going to make sure I uncheck the match native aspect ratio, and I'm going to change this to 1920 by 1080. Now click on preview, and then you're going to wait for the countdown to actually finish countdowning, okay? It's going to tell you that too. There's a little guide that tells you what to do here. And basically this is just saying, hey, you just need to make sure that this looks okay for you. And then you can basically just apply these settings when you're done. Now, I tested this with my Redmagic 10 Pro or my 11 Pro and my Redmagic Nova, and also other devices that wouldn't do this properly. So click on preview, do not revert, click apply, and now you can click save. Now, the cool thing about this is that, like I said, it's going to ask you to enable read write permissions with Shizuku. There'll be a little bit of notification. Mine, I think, is because it's already set up and everything. But now when I go into games, like Call of Duty or this one, which is Xailth Launcher for Java Minecraft, I should be able to just see the game in full screen, as you can see on the screen right now. That's really it. There's not really much else to say about this, but the fact of you can now basically use a mouse and keyboard properly. So as I can tell here, if I turn this settings off, I can actually use the mouse and keyboard just like I'm using a computer, right? So the only downside is that your phone screen is going to be on alongside your screen on the actual device. But if you want to play with a keyboard and mouse on your big screen TV, then this is the way to do it for now. Have a nice day, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Maybe Redmagic will take some notes and they'll give us some better options like this. Because like I said, when I play mouse and keyboard games with this, it works, but if I don't and I use like the GameSpace feature, then the mouse and keyboard just acts as a touchscreen, which is kind of a nuisance. And I've tried figuring out how to turn that on and off, and it still doesn't work to this day. Take care. Hope you enjoy. Have a nice day. See you later, and bye-bye.